G'day and welcome to a series of legal studies videos where I'm going to talk about some of the key skills and some of the ways that hopefully you can improve the way you think about and your ability to work in legal studies. What I'm going to do for these videos is mainly look at media articles and think through how we can use media articles in our legal studies subject. So today, for this example, I'm going to hopefully use one that covers a whole range of issues and shows you what I'm talking about. Why should we use newspaper articles? Very simple reason: the principal focus for the crime unit through the use of a range of contemporary examples. So the HSC examiners are looking for somebody who is using current events. The more current, the better, because they're looking for someone who is able to think through the concepts and the themes that they'll read about and hear about in legal studies and apply them to real life. So you'll see to the left of me here an article by Paul Farrell on the 7th of May. He's talking about a bill that the New South Wales Parliament passed, which has given new powers to the police force. So I'm going to go through this and I'm going to just basically think out loud about how this article applies to different parts of legal studies and how you might use that. So, as this article states, this is about a bill that passed the New South Wales Upper House. It grants extraordinary new powers to the police force to create serious crime prevention and public safety orders. So we've got a couple of things to talk about there. These are called serious crime prevention orders. They can be applied now to all citizens in the New South Wales who are alleged to have some proximity or involvement to a serious crime, without a person ever actually being found guilty of that offence, and it's using a lower standard of proof. So thinking through in legal studies what we're talking about here, this is looking at the idea of natural justice. It's looking at the idea of the tension between protecting society and between an individual's rights. So themes such as in the crime, the HSC unit, you've got the theme, the extent to which the law balances the rights of victims, offenders and society. So most certainly this falls into that theme. It's asking the question, what public safety orders can we place on individuals who are actually innocent until proven guilty? So these powers, as you'll read, they allow orders to be made on any citizen restricting their movement, who they associate with, who they work for, and whether they can access the internet. So these are quite extraordinary powers. Remember, in legal studies, we want to think about all angles and think about how this applies and be able to discuss any article or any new breaking news from the point of view of multiple angles. So we want to think through the implications, the legal implications of an article, and if required, persuade somebody in a written form of one way or the other. But it helps at all times to be thinking through from both sides, or from as many sides as possible, how something might affect the legal system or people within and how they interact with the legal system. If we're looking at the crime unit, we'd probably look at the second part, the criminal investigation process for this question. We've got police powers, detention, interrogation and the rights of subjects, and public defenders, and legal representation, including legal aid. So this article covers 4 or 5 points, without even really me having to think about it, directly covers 4 or 5 points within the crime unit. So if you're asked a question on this, you could refer to this article and talk about these extraordinary new powers that have been given and how there's actually been some criticism. So looking at the last part of this, and this is when we can see both sides of or tension within the community about this new bill. We've got the new powers have drawn criticism from the legal community. In a scathing submission, the New South Wales Bar Association criticises the government's limited consultation with legal groups and its attempt to rush the bill through the Parliament. So we've got an issue of law reform here and of proper process being followed when you're creating statute law. The Redfern Legal Centre warned that the new powers would essentially remove equality before the law. So we're looking at a huge range of issues there if that is the case. The New South Wales Greens Upper House member David Shoebridge has also been highly critical of the laws and said they could be used simply on the gut feeling of police officers. Okay, so there's a range of people really criticising, from the New South Wales Bar Association through Redfern Legal Centre and from Parliament. So both legal criticism and from statute officers from David Shoebridge. Okay, remember, if that's an interesting article for you, write down some of that information, think through the themes, create a little summary, and don't be afraid to click on the link. There's the submission from the Bar Association with all of their issues. That's a fantastic way of you quickly having a read through and seeing, maybe even just looking at the summaries, extraordinary, unprecedented breadth of powers conferred by the bill. So these are all the issues that the New South Wales Bar Association has with this crime bill. And that's obviously going to look great if you're talking about an issue and you can refer to something like this. It shows it's both current and it shows that you're thinking about the legal implications of contemporary issues and able to think through, well, how does this affect the rights of citizens? How does this affect access to the law with legal aid? And also thinking about the procedural fairness of innocent till proven guilty within the criminal investigation process. So people being given serious crime public orders without actually having been guilty of a crime at all. So all things to think through, and a great article and a great thing to kind of write down and look, just sit down with the syllabus and look through, well, what areas would this article fit into and what are the implications? How would I put this into an essay? Perhaps looking at some past questions. So hopefully this is a video where I've just thrown some thoughts out using an article that I simply just found online this morning. There'll be a couple of these videos. Hopefully they'll get a bit shorter and a bit snappier, where you can watch them and see the process of looking at the article, thinking through the legal implications and perhaps what to write down and how you might be able to use these in essay questions or in some of the different HSC questions that rise.